I can trust every single one of these guys to go out there and put up their best and have us win. And you can't find that often. And it's really incredible. Every 35 of us, it's insane.
Go enjoy this one. You have an early start tomorrow.
Yeah, we do. But
how you doing, buddy?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing great. Welcome to Moneyball. Thanks for joining me today.
Yeah, for sure.
It's exciting. You have an amazingly interesting path, and you're in Thailand until age what?
15.
15. You're in Thailand. How big is baseball in Thailand?
No. There is really no base. There's a national team. Don't get me wrong, but it's definitely not a popular sport. I'll tell you that much. Yeah.
And how did you find the passion for it?
So my dad, he grew up playing soccer, real big soccer guy. Played semi-pro in the U.S. Growing up in the 80s and 90s. And then when he moved over to Thailand, he met my mom, obviously, had me and my brother, and we grew up playing multiple sports, a lot of basketball, a lot of soccer. But it got to a point where, the school that I was at international school. They had a community like T-ball and like low level like baseball league. And so we started playing that and, kind of found out quickly we were pretty good at it. So then in turn, my dad and a couple other dads around the community opened up a travel ball team.
Cool.
Called the Bangkok All-Stars. Yeah, so we would travel. We would go to like Australia. We'd go to Japan.
Oh, so you were that's a real travel team.
Oh yeah, no, you can find.
I take my kids, an hour or two away, and I'm complaining. You guys are traveling continents.
Oh
that's a travel team, brother.
Oh yeah, that's real travel. Yeah, no, we go to China. Pretty much, I think we hit almost every Southeast Asian country.
That's amazing, though. I mean, that's really unique in its own right. I mean, you have your own little baseball league, almost essentially formed by your dad and his buddies, right? Yeah. And on a level to go and play in different. That's amazing, man. Good for you. And that obviously. How worldly too. Like you got to go see this stuff at a young age and some amazing talent of ball. How did you guys fare, your Thailand All-Stars, your Bangkok All-Stars? How did you guys fare in comparison to these other teams in different countries and continents?
Pretty well. A lot of us were, half something Asian. So I'm half Thai. We had a lot of half Japanese, half American kids, a lot of dads who also grew up playing baseball. So we did really well, kind of in that pool for sure. We actually had, I think, 9 out of 12 kids out of my U15 team play college baseball in the U.S., including my brother and a couple other my best friends. So we always
that's huge, right? Again, sorry to cut you.
Unheard of.
Unheard of. People they think, like I tell my son Deacon, who's really passionate about baseball, travel, everything else, he's 11, so we're just diving in, and he's a great little ball player. And the goal, man, if he can ever play D1 or any college ball, that's the goal, right? I mean, it could end there, and he wouldn't be happy, but I would. So 9 out of 12 is incredible. That's a lot of talent.
Yeah, no, it was, I mean, when like every time I would hear somebody committed to here, committed to there, I'd be like, oh my gosh, like this could be a story one day, really.
Yeah. Give me a couple examples. Like where were these guys going? All across the country in the States?
Yeah, so I moved to New Hampshire, and the reason for that was because one of my best friends growing up, his name's Calvin Hewitt, actually played outfield at Vanderbilt.
Okay.
I grew up with him in Thailand. I think he was there for like 5-6 years.
Down in Tennessee, Vanderbilt?
Yeah, big Vanderbilt. Yeah. No, he moved back to New Hampshire, I think like in 7th or 8th grade, and we would come visit him over here on the East Coast. Kind of fell in love with the place, and then decided to move here.
So he was from New Hampshire, went to school down in Vanderbilt, so still spent all his time in New Hampshire. So you would come and visit. Okay, I got you. Okay, I was like, what's the connection with Vanderbilt?
He moved back like from Thailand, like I think like 8th grade or something like that, and then we would just come back for every summer to play summer ball and with his travel program, and then eventually just followed in his footsteps and moved here. So he's one. My brother played at Virginia Tech last year. He's at Delaware now.
Okay. He's a blue hen?
He's a blue hen. Yeah, I was just down there this past weekend, actually.
Were you really?
Yeah, I was.
Funny story, man. I just had Leith Welschleger on my show, and Leith is an actor who plays Rob Gronkowski in the Aaron Hernandez Hulu story.
Wow.
And he's also playing Travis Kelce in a loosely based Travis Kelce Taylor Swift called Christmas in the Spotlight on Hallmark Channel. So I just had him on my show. You're supposed to know this because you're supposed to have watched it all by now. But no, he was one of my, like literally this week I did an episode with him, and then he was on Entertainment Tonight and he was on something else. The point with him is he was a blue hen.
Yeah.
So I just got a whole history lesson on Monday of how they got the Blue Hen name. Do you know what it is?
I actually have no clue.
Civil War times, they were cockfighting all the time. True
Oh,
story.
wow.
Unless he's really putting me on and making me sound like,
Yeah.
but I guess the Blue Hen was like the nastiest bird. No bullshit. Like this was the nastiest bird. So that's how Delaware, founded in 1780, whatever, got the
Yeah.
names from Civil War times from cockfighting, the Blue Hen.
Oh, I had no clue. I'm not even sure if my brother knows that yet, but he
Just blew
should.
your mind, man. Just blew your mind.
Yeah, no, that's a good way to, have your mascot for sure.
I'll send you the interview with him after, and you can listen to the whole thing. It's great actually, and he's a really really good dude. He still holds 3 or 4 records at the school for football.
Oh, wow.
He was killer. Yeah, he tried out for a few NFL teams, played arena ball, and now he's acting. But enough about Lath. He had his show already. Let's go back to Ryan.
Yeah.
So then when you want to go to the States, right? Is it like a host family kind of thing, or how did that work then?
No, so we packed up and we
Packed
left.
up and went. Okay.
And yeah, we moved to Greenland, New Hampshire, and I went to Portsmouth High School. But yeah, no, we literally just picked up everything and left. It wasn't purely for baseball. There's other things like academics, want to be in the US for academics anyways. So there's multiple factors, but secretly behind baseball was probably the leading factor in all of it. So yeah, no.
How many brothers do you have?
Just one.
Okay, so the one's Virginia Tech, and
Yep.
then you were at Niagara. How did you end up at Niagara?
So I was at UVA my freshman year.
Okay.
And I actually quit the team 2 weeks before the start of the season with plans to just stop baseball in general.
See, this is a story in itself, man. What happened?
There's a lot of things that went into it. As soon as I got on campus, I was kind of unsure if this is a place I wanted to be.
Gotta feel right. It's gotta feel right.
Yeah, it felt right when I was a junior stepping on and looking at it all as a high schooler. But then as soon as I was a freshman, it kind of didn't fit me personally. And I know I have a lot of great friends there who are still there, who may have gotten drafted as well,
Yeah.
who loved it, but it wasn't just my fit. And, they took, I think, 5 transfer arms, I think like a couple of weeks before I got on campus. So there's a lot of things that played into it.
That's discouraging, right?
Yeah, there's a lot that played into it, and I won't get into full detail.
Yeah. No, that's all right. That's all right, man. It wasn't for you, and that's really, the end of the story. But the fact that you almost quit ball completely.
Yeah. I think it was like a couple of weeks before the season, I stepped into the head coach's office and was like, yeah, I don't think I really have the passion for this game anymore, and blah, blah, blah. And I still respect, Coach O'Connor and everybody there for sure. But yeah, no, I just fell out of love with the game, and honestly, hate's a strong word, but I've started to hate it a lot. Just showing up to the field and having to do this over again and this.
So this is something that is so polarizing and insane to hear for me, because often hear, and thank you for being so honest and raw, man. You know what I mean? Because you often hear this kind of stuff, but you don't have people admit it. Like you hear about burning kids out or people getting sick of the game and hate for the game, whatever, but then you don't have a lot of them admit it, especially after they've been signed. Like say, for example, you're working at Barnes and Noble right now, and you could say, okay, I used to pitch and I hate the game because of what happened. But to go back to it, it sounds, at some point you fell back in love with the game. So thank you for your honesty. And I think what may have happened, man, were you burnt out? Was it just kind of like, the grind, or what do you think was the main reason of just being like, man, I'm sick of coming out and pitching or playing?
I think it was a little bit of that for sure. There's also just some things internally that went wrong with me, I think, in the fall, just keeping up with school, some other factors. Oh yeah, no, and UVA is a very, very high academic school.
Sure.
So to lead that kind of lifestyle academically, and then also be at the field for 5-6 hours a day, 6 days a week in the fall, that was a lot for me as a freshman.
You're still a kid, you know what I mean?
Exactly. I was 18 years old. I had no idea what to expect, and I just got it all thrown at me. And there's other guys that did really well with that and loved the productive, like, okay, this, then this, then this, then this. But I just wasn't ready for it. I'm full on admit it now. But yeah, no, it was kind of like a slow decay of like, just I probably don't want to do this anymore. And honestly, it probably took me a lot longer than I thought to realize it, because it was always in the back of my head. But yeah, no, I think 2 weeks before the spring, I just said, that's it. And I would live the student life for 6 months at UVA.
So how did Niagara give you that shot in the arm back? How did you get that passion back, bro?
So that's a weird story. So that summer I was supposed to play summer ball for the Brockton Rocks in the Futures League here in Massachusetts, but that was fully off the table. I was like, I'm done. I'm just gonna do whatever. My aunt calls me and she has a bakery and hotel business out in Idaho. And she asked me, "Do you want to come work in my bakery for the summer? It's a beautiful scene. We live like right on the foothill of the mountains, blah blah blah." And I was like, "You know what? Yeah, let's do it. I'm with anything right now. I'll do anything other than baseball, like just to get my mind off of it." So I fly into Phoenix, Arizona, pick up one of my best friends from Thailand who lives there now, and we drove all the way up to Idaho. And I find myself just in this bakery, like in the middle of nowhere. Like the next closest town is like 2 hours away. Mountains were still snow capped in June, and I'm like, what is going on right now? I had a ball in my hand like 6 months ago at a Power Five.
This is unbelievable. Yeah.
Worked there for like a month or so before getting a phone call from one of my close friends, one of my best friends from Maine, who played in my summer ball program growing up in high school. And he calls me and I'm like, "Hey, what's up?" He's like, "Dude, I just want you to know you're kind of a wuss for quitting at UVA." And I was like, "What?" Like, this is just not the phone call I want at 9 a.m.
Yeah, and you didn't expect it at all. Yeah.
Not at all.
He was giving you the business though.
He was giving me oh yeah. He's like, "Oh, you're way too this and way too talented to quit. I don't know why you did that. Like, why would you waste all that?" And it kind of fired me up. I was like, "Dude, what are you talking about right now? I have no idea what you're talking about." And then he kind of just said, "Hey, wouldn't it be funny if you came to Niagara?" And the first couple of things, like, because he plays at Niagara.
Yeah, right.
The starting shortstops and Brady Desjardins.
He's still there now?
No, he just graduated.
Okay.
So he's like, "Hey, wouldn't it be funny?" And I was like, "No, it wouldn't. Niagara's too cold."
No, it wouldn't be funny at all.
Yeah. I don't know what joke you're playing on me right now, but this is not funny. I was like, "Yeah, it's way too cold. I don't really know if I want to play baseball again." And then he just straight up sends me the coach's number without really saying anything other than that. And he's like, "Just think about it."
Okay.
And I think I gave it like 1 or 2 hours before I was like, "All right, that kid just like fired me up. I kind of want to do it again." And then without telling my mom, my dad, or even my aunt or anybody, I was like, "Hey, coach, how you doing? I want to play baseball again. You got room for one?" And he's like,
"Oh, this is wild, man. Listen, I've interviewed, Johnny Damon's been on the show, right? I mean, I've had some enormous names and ball players and whatever, and this is maybe my favorite story. You might have won favorite story award. Like, this is crazy. Just your journey, and you're only 22 years old, bro. Like, I feel like you're just getting cooking. But this is the path that you've taken, right? You know what? I'm going to be able to brag and say I had you first, because when you're pitching lights out for the Nats, and everybody's going to want this story, right? This kid from Thailand, and the story of Niagara and everything. Doesn't it already sound like it's fit for like an E60 or something?
I mean, it's definitely one of those kind of stories. And like you said, yeah, I just turned 22, and I've lived kind of a shorter life so far, but it feels like there's a lot packed into it.
You have an old soul, man. Like you have a lot of wisdom, and you speak very well, and you're I can tell you're certainly cerebral for being just turning 22, and that's going to help you immensely, going into this phase that you're about to enter. And no, I mean that sincerely, man. I don't blow smoke, and I think you can kind of see it with certain people. Your gears are now, I think, focused where they need to be, right? I mean, are you at this point, now that you got drafted, which after hearing that story is kudos, is just tremendous, right? From literally you put the ball down, you said I'm done, to now getting drafted by the Nationals. I mean, if the story ended here, it's still phenomenal. It's a movie already, right?
Yeah.
We're just getting started. So I want the movie rights, man. Ryan, I want the movie rights, all right?
Yeah, no.
You're hard to not root for, bro. Like, it's just a great story. You know what I mean?
Yeah. It's definitely one of the weirder ones I've ever heard. And obviously, like all the adversity and everything that I've faced in the last like 2, 3, 4 years has been good, honestly. And I wish, honestly, like sooner I could have realized that it was good. But you never think about it when you're 18 and your whole kind of baseball career just falls apart. You're like, God, that really sucks. I don't know how that happened, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, now I know why it happened. Like I have 2020 now looking back for sure, but at the time, I had no clue. So no, I would never change anything about my career path.
You believe in, karma and the universe, and those are the things that I truly, truly believe in. And there's a pathway, sometimes it takes a little bit longer to get there. I mean, I can speak from my own personal adversities. I'm 46 years old, right? I have three amazing children, beautiful wife. I quit drinking 6 years ago,
Oh,
which thank you. Yeah, dramatically changed my life. And I don't talk about it a lot on the show, but I'm feel like I'm getting to a point where I should. And even this just started this a couple years ago, and the doors it's opened is incredible. So I feel like once you have that clarity and a clear, where you kind of want to go, you just need to do it. Like less talk, just do and see what happens. At least you gave it a shot. You know what I mean?
Yeah. No, I mean, as soon as I quit at UVA and kind of got the return to baseball that summer, I'd said to myself, like, hey, there's no quitting twice. Yeah. You quit twice, I could never live with that. You quit once, maybe it wasn't right for you, but you can't quit twice.
I hope you bought your buddy a beer or something. I mean, because this guy's basically responsible for you getting drafted, right? Is that fair to say?
Yeah, no, he lets me know all the time. Don't worry. Draft day happened. Hey man, I want my 5%.
I was just gonna say, man, if he's not an agent, then he's definitely going to be a season ticket looker.
But he'll get his fair share. Don't worry. Yeah, no, obviously, awesome. Brady, if you're listening, love you and thank you.
That's awesome. We'll make sure he does, man. We'll send it directly to him. That's amazing. So let's get into, I won't keep you here all day. I mean, I really didn't expect that. And I feel so fortunate to have heard all that, man, but let's get into a couple of the baseball things, and then I'll let you get out of here. As far as the pitching goes and everything, that you're going to camp with, what are your main couple of pitches?
So I throw a four seam, changeup, splitter, or forkball, I would call it, and then a slider, which is kind of a weirder pitch mix with the forkball and
forkball, yeah. Right.
But
it's unique. It's unique though.
It is. It definitely is. There's actually one other pitcher who I met down there when I was down there. His name is Davian Garcia, who throws pretty much the same exact pitch mix as me. We actually turned out to be roommates.
Really? There you go. There's that universe thing again, man.
No, seriously, like karma or something.
That's not a normal pitch mix, right?
No, it's really not. I haven't really seen a lot of guys throw it. Like
why the fork? The drop off with it? Or, I mean, like that's an interesting selection. I mean, in your repertoire, how did you, I guess, get into throwing that pitch or what was the reason for the fork? It's an interesting pitch that you don't hear a lot of people going to. It's kind of an old school thing.
Right. Well, I kind of learned it when I was like 13 years old, 14 years old. I had a buddy who I grew up with in Thailand who threw it. And honestly, I think before the splitter / forkball really became like a huge phenomenon in like pitching, it was a predominantly Asian pitch, to be honest. And a lot of people that I knew growing up kind of threw it. So I was like, you know what, I'm going to try it out. And then it turned out I could throw a pretty gross one.
You have a baseball with you right now or no?
I do actually right here. Yeah.
Let's show the kids how you hold this forkball. Let me see.
It's gonna be weird. You kind of need bigger hands for it, but I'd go literally straight down the middle.
Okay, see that far out. I mean, that's so definitely different than a typical slider.
Yeah, no. Yeah.
And I mean, that's and you do need big hands to throw that pitch. Otherwise, that thing's gonna end up over the you're gonna look like 50 Cent throwing out the first pitch.
Yeah, hit the cameraman. No, yeah. So I throw this thing, kind of hook my thumb on here and just pull down on my thumb when I release it. And it kind of has the same movement as like almost a lefty curveball, that loop, and then just drops.
Yeah. The real nasty looking one where you can see it. Yeah, like it's on a string.
Yeah, it kind of knuckles at first and then will drop out right into a righty. So I love it.
How fast are you throwing that pitch right now?
I've got it up to I think 83, 84, but it's usually around like high 70s, low 80s.
That's kind of where you want it,
Yeah, I don't want it to be anywhere really close to the fastball, but that's what the changeup's for sure. Right. But no, it's definitely one of my favorite pitches, and I've had conversations with the Nats to throw it a lot more. So,
well, as you're saying it, it's such a specialty pitch. I'm almost thinking, when you're saying it with the lefty, I'm thinking Clayton Kershaw, right? With that unbelievable curve as a lefty that he's got. And I'm
not
just
like that, but
yeah. Right. Well, hey, maybe it'll get there, right? Yeah. But that type of movement though.
Yeah. It kind of just starts. I'm aiming at like your neck high and having it drop below your knees. That's my goal with it, and just change your eyesight and kind of just tunnel that off everything else. So
That's cool, man. That's well, listen, I am rooting for you. I'm in your corner. The whole family's going to be in your corner. You know, the Niagara connection, like I said, like it's kind of strange. There's no Buffalo connection or anything like that. It's just it's all a journey, you know, and yours ending up at Niagara the way you did is insane. But couple fun questions, man. What kind of music do you listen to? What's on the phone right now?
a lot of country, been
Okay.
country for a long time.
A lot of athletes, man, that's their answer. It's moving, it's trending from the hip hop over to country.
Yeah. I mean, I've kind of stopped listening to hip hop since like sophomore, junior year of high school. I don't know why.
The
You know,
music's not good. That would be the first reason.
yeah, it is turning out to be something I didn't think it would be, but a lot of country. I'll listen to any country, honestly. So
Have you been to Buffalo? I mean, you played at Niagara. Have you
yeah,
been in Buffalo and had some wings, or what's up?
definitely been to Buffalo. We did a lot of the Bills games. We worked at concession stands at Niagara.
So you didn't jump through any tables or anything.
No, no, never got the pleasure of that. Maybe in the next couple of years.
You're always welcome, dude. Anytime you're ever in Buffalo, you have an
I'm
invite
a
from me.
converted Bills fan now, so
That's what I'm talking about. You have an invite from me, and you're welcome to. I can't thank you enough for coming, taking the time, and you have a great story. And I truly, man, like I wish you nothing but the best. I hope that I'm, watching you play up on the mound in that stadium, man, because we travel a lot.
Yeah, no, for sure, man. Thank you again. Been a pleasure, and you've been great, and all those questions are great, and I
Awesome.
really appreciate it for sure, man.
Thank
Awesome.
you. Thank you sincerely. All right, man. We'll keep in touch. Have a great day. All right.
You too.